Hello FPL managers, yes, we're back again with another video for the Fantasy Premier League 2022-23 season. It's the Game Week 17 preview. On this video we're going to be looking at our Game Week 17 draft as well as our strategy for the upcoming double game weeks. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers as quickly as possible, so help a brother out. Click that red button. Let's get straight into business. So the World Cup is finally over. Congratulations to Argentina, and club football is back. In fact, some of you might not be aware, but there are some League Cup games that are supposed to take place tonight, so keep an eye out on that, because it might help us in knowing exactly how ready some of these players who we're considering for our FPL teams are. So there are some teams that are going to be doubling in the upcoming game weeks. In game week 19, we have Chelsea and Fulham who double. Game week 20, we have Manchester City as well as Spurs. And then in game week 23, we also have Manchester City and Arsenal having a double game week. So we're going to try and build our team to ensure that we capitalize on these teams that are going to double and make it easier for us to get in players from these teams. Okay, so that's why I've gone ahead and selected these specific players for my squad. So this is the squad I'm on at the moment. This isn't my first draft. I've changed this team probably 100 times since the break started, and there are still some question marks regarding a couple of players in this squad, but at the moment this is what I'm going with. My goalkeepers are Leno and Ward. Of course, Leno is going to be the starting goalie. In defense, we've gone with Thomas, Dalot, Trippier, Davis and Bueno. I've gone with Davis because I'm not entirely sure Romero is going to be starting game week 17. So Davis, of course, he scored a couple of goals in his last 3 appearances for Spurs, so I've gone with him. Dalot, an attacking fullback for Manchester United, did quite well in the World Cup. I don't know if he's going to start. He was knocked out quite early, so I expect that he would start. Trippier, another player who did well at the World Cup. So that's gonna be my starting defenders: Dalot, Trippier and Davies, and then completed by Bueno and Thomas. Bueno is a 3.9 attacking fullback for Wolves. I really was tempted to get in a really cheap fullback who seems to be starting games for Wolves, so Bueno is in. Thomas is coming in for the injured James Justin, so 4.2 million. I could possibly downgrade him to Neco Williams if I need the cash, but at the moment I've still got £1 million in the bank. My midfield consists of Martinelli, Mount, Salah, Andreas and Almiron. Almiron, really popular pick. Did really well in the first part of the season, has been doing quite well in the friendlies as well, so he might be someone who would continue his hot streak into the second part of the season. Andreas, really cheap, Manchester, or rather I've forgotten he's moved to Fulham. Really cheap Fulham midfielder, 4.5 million, has a double in game week 19, so he's in. Salah did quite well towards the ending of the first part of the season, so I'm hoping that he's going to continue that form. He's done pretty well in the friendlies for Liverpool, so I expect that he could continue that form. Mason Mount has the double in game week 19 and starts game week 17 and 18 with some really good fixtures, so he's in. Martinelli, another player who did very well in the start of the season and was selected for the World Cup, didn't feature much, so we expect that he will be fit for the second part of the season. So game week 17 he's expected to start. Our forward line is looking like Mitrovic, Haaland and Harry Kane. Mitrovic I've gone with because he's got that double in game week 19, of course, but he's got 4 yellow cards at the moment, and I'm hoping that if he's gonna get a 50th yellow card, it should either be in game week 17 or the second game of game week 19, anywhere in between, and I'm really gonna be hurt by that, because if he's only gonna feature for 3 games between now and game week 19, I'd rather just go for someone like Callum Wilson or Anthony Martial. The rest of the forward line consists of Haaland. Of course, no need to explain why he's in the team. He's gonna be our captain in game week 17, so no need talking about that. He's been rested. He didn't feature for the World Cup, and he's already scored a goal in a friendly game for Manchester City, so he's in. He's gonna be our captain for game week 17. Doubles in game week 20 and 23. Not much to explain there. Our forward line is completed by Harry Kane. Pretty good for the first half of the season. Quite underlooked by most FPL managers, really, because of how well Erling Haaland has been doing. And Harry Kane, of course, featured for the World Cup, but I don't expect him to get rested for Spurs. He's going to feature for game week 17, and I'm hoping that he's going to carry on ticking along with the points, and that will really help my team, because he also doubles in game week 20, so I'm going to be taking him out of the team after that game is done, so I can start building my team for the double game week in game week 23. So that's the team, that's the starting 11. Like I said, there are a few question marks regarding a couple of these players. For example, we have Bernd Leno in goal, and he's only in there because I'm not entirely sure if Kepa is gonna start, or exactly which Chelsea goalkeeper is going to be selected for game week 17. If I still have doubts, then I'm just going to go with Leno. But if I'm convinced that Kepa is going to be the starter, then I'm going to switch to Kepa, mostly because he's got a better save percentage than Bernd Leno. In less games, he's got the same amount of clean sheets too. FPL points so far, 29 for Kepa, 47 for Leno, but that's because Kepa only started a few games this season. Expected points in game week 17 is 3.4 for Bernd Leno, which is higher than Kepa's 3.0. So that really wasn't expected. I expected Chelsea to do much better at home to Bournemouth than Fulham would do away to Crystal Palace, but that's the expected points, so we'll just go with that. As for ownership, Leno is owned by less than 1% of the top 500k managers, and Kepa is owned by 3.7% of the top 500k. Okay, now another player who I'm not 100% sure would be featuring for me in game week 17 is Gabriel Martinelli. He's done quite well the first part of the season with 5 goals and 4 assists, but I'm considering someone like Marcus Rashford, who has picked up some form, did quite well at the World Cup. 4 goals and 2 assists in the first half of the season. 77 points for Martinelli so far, and 62 FPL points for Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford is predicted to score more points than Martinelli in game week 17 with 4.9 as opposed to Martinelli's 4.7. But Martinelli is owned by 75% of the top 500k managers, while Rashford is owned by 24%. The main reason I'm considering Rashford is because of his fixtures between game week 17 and 19 look really attractive. A home match against Nottingham Forest, away to Wolves, and then at home to Bournemouth, as opposed to Martinelli, who his fixtures aren't really bad, but they aren't as good as Rashford's. That's West Ham at home, Brighton away, and then Newcastle at home, followed by a Tottenham away fixture in game week 20. So if I have a change of heart regarding Martinelli, then Rashford is definitely going to be the one I'm going to be bringing in. Another player I'm considering taking out of my game week 17 team is Mo Salah. I'm considering Kevin De Bruyne for game week 17 because he would save me an extra transfer that I would need to make before game week 20. So Mo Salah so far has scored 6 goals and created 4. Kevin De Bruyne scored 3 and created 10. Mo Salah is owned by 35% of the top 500k managers, KDB is owned by more managers in the top 500k at 43%, but Mo Salah is predicted to score more points in game week 17 away to Aston Villa. He's got 6.4 predicted points, and KDB has 5.4. But between game week 17 and game week 20, I expect KDB to gain more points than Mo Salah. So all depends on how much I want to save that extra transfer for game week 20. So if I see the need to save that transfer, then KDB is gonna come in and Mo Salah is gonna go out. But if no need, then Mo Salah will definitely feature for game week 17. Speaking about transfer considerations for the upcoming double game weeks, I'm most likely going to be taking out Trippier and bringing in Reece James. That's if he's back fit and 100% ready to go, and that's why I don't have Reece James in my team for game week 17. I need to be sure that he's back and he's starting games for Chelsea. If not, probably I will be bringing in someone like Cucurella or whichever fullback for Chelsea is the guaranteed starter between now and that double game week in game week 19. So for now, it'll be Trippier out and Reece James in for game week 19. So in game week 19, I'm gonna have at least 5 players who double, and that will be the goalie, Chelsea defender, and the 3 Fulham assets. In game week 20, I'm going to be taking out Mo Salah and Mason Mount, who would have overstayed his use in my team, and bringing in KDB and Phil Foden, 2 Manchester City attacking assets. That will leave me with 5 doublers in game week 20. That's Haaland, KDB, Foden, Kane, and Davis. So in game week 20, I'm gonna have 5, and as soon as game week 20 is done, I'm gonna start taking out players in order to bring in Arsenal assets who double in game week 23. So that's gonna include Harry Kane, probably downgrade to an Nketiah, and Saka, bring in Saka probably for an Andreas, and then probably a Martinelli if I don't go for Rashford in game week 17. So that's my strategy for the double game weeks. That will leave me with 1.7 million in the bank. So there's a lot of money to play with, and I'm hoping that that will be enough to get me into the top 100k by game week 23. So that's the video for today. We've looked at our draft for game week 17. We've looked at our transfer strategy for the double game weeks between now and game week 23. If there are gonna be any changes, of course, I'm gonna let you guys know. We're gonna take a look at our final team just before the deadline for game week 17, so look out for that. And once again, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers as quickly as possible. Help a brother out, click that red button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.